You are listening to thedailybread.com. Let me tell you something. I'm stoked that you are here. I'm grateful that you are giving us your attention right now. And I'm going to do everything I can to bring you the light, to bring you the love, to bring you the leadership that you need now more than ever. But I can't do it by myself. I had to enlist some of the smartest, brightest, best people I know. And today I have with me Mr. Harold Green. What is up, my man?
What's up? What's up, everybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is the guy from the Stop Doing What You Hate podcast. He's got a smooth radio voice. I'm gonna have to keep up with you, man, because I know
All
you're
right.
you're radio ready.
All right. Let's
So
get
what's
it.
good, man? What's good in your world? I'm so glad that you're here. This is the first time that we do a face-to-face Zoom, even though we've been working together for months and months and months. And dude,
Right.
what are you seeing right now? Because you're in the financial services industry, and all hell's breaking loose. So how do you deal with this?
Well, man, you got to stay patient, first of all. And it's just a matter of being ready and staying ready. So, I've been telling my clients for a long time that this was coming down the pipe. You know, Within the next 5 years, we were going to go into some sort of recession or downturn. There's going to be a drop in the market. I've been saying this for about a year and a half to 2 years. And so it was just a matter of getting the clients ready for it, bracing them for it, making sure we build out the portfolios for it, making sure that we had our game plan in place so that if anything were to happen, we could just execute the game plan. And so I think that's my main mantra, is to have a plan in place so that when things go wrong, you can simply execute that plan. And then when things are going great, you can execute that plan. So I'm a planner at heart. I always try to stay 2 to 3 steps ahead of the game. And if you're ahead of the game, more times than not, you have a greater chance of winning than if you're sitting there being reactionary versus being the other way around. That's just my thing. So for me, it's a matter of being patient, staying ready, studying up, researching, making sure I'm not the blind leading the blind, because a lot of times, people are looking to you, and if you don't have your mind right, you don't have yourself right, there's not a lot you can do to help people. You're just going to be, just like them. You're going to be panicking. You're going to be freaking out, and you're not really going to know what to do. So it's a matter of just being ready and staying ready. Okay.
Man, let's talk about this a little bit. You're saying that by planning and preparing, you put yourself in a better position. So, what else are you doing, man? Because I can't imagine, like, I know you must have been receiving panicked calls, people losing their minds. And so, how do you stay positive when all this craziness is going on?
No, JR, you know what, man? I'm going to tell you something straight up, and I'm very thankful for this. I'm very humbled by this. And my main thing is just to stay humble and to stay helpful. If I can stay humble and helpful, that goes a long way. So last year, I built my own RIA, registered investment advisory firm, and I've had clients with me for many, many, many years in different facets of planning, life insurance, annuities, whatnot, college planning, and so on and so forth. And so, about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, I got into the investment world, and then just began to build out different things and whatnot. I joined a firm before, and that didn't work out too well for me. And so I said, you know what, I got to build my own RIA. So last year, before everything went crazy, I built my own RIA, brought all of my clients over with me from the other firm, and just began to see some phenomenal results in the planning, and then prepare them for what was about to happen. So I think it was October of last year, we had two huge client appreciation events. We split the island in half, and we did one on the west side of the island. We did one on the east side of the island, and so we brought those clients together. And I just really told them, and I thanked them, and I really appreciated them for being with me for all these years, sticking with me and my team, giving us a chance, believing in us, and then allowing us to fight for them on their behalf. And in those meetings, I told them some of the things that could happen in the year to come or whatnot, and told them what we were doing to prepare. So believe it or not, I've gotten probably three phone calls out of all the clients that we have GR3 that said, Harold, actually it was two. Harold, I'm nervous, sell everything to cash. And I'm just going to wait it out and see what happens in the market. It probably the situation was, I think they were watching a lot of bad news, because when I put in the trades that morning to sell their stock, the afternoon the stock just skyrocketed that afternoon. And I was sitting there and I said, I let this client down because what could I have done to calm them down, to let them see that they're holding the right stuff. I mean, we're holding Apple, we're holding Amazon, we're holding a lot of good stuff in there. And when I sold it all, it just broke my heart because I knew right then and there it was the wrong decision. But for me, doing what's in the best interest of my clients is number one. And if giving him peace of mind for that day, my attitude is, so what? I can make it up. I know I can make it up. I know what to do in order to get this back for him. So we sold in, and we waited 2 weeks, and I think it was them watching the bad news. So when you watch bad news, JR, man, things are not good. You can watch the We Can Win channel, or you can watch the We Can Lose channel. And I think they were watching the We're Gonna Lose channel, and things don't look good. And so so 2 weeks went by, and I called that client back, and I said, hey, and I didn't call him, I emailed him. I said, hey, here's what's going to happen in the market, I believe. And, you can take this or leave it for what it is. But I feel like I would be failing you if I didn't tell you what I thought and how I felt, and then gave you the opportunity to do what you will with this information. So the next day he calls up and says, yeah, I think you're right. I think we're ready to get back in. And so I built a new portfolio for him, and I slowly, begin to put the toe back in the water. And next thing you know, what happens over the next week or two, it was actually last week to this week, we've seen what happened. The thing just kind of took off. Today we're up 770 points. As I look at my phone here, we're up big, and so it's looking pretty good for right now. And then the other call I got was kind of similar. He's older, about to send a kid to college, and say, hey, I want to kind of protect what I have in my IRA, so just keep some gold in there, and then basically sell everything to cash. And I said, that's fine with me. Again, if that's going to give you peace of mind, that's okay, because we're going to circle back to this later on. But you know what? I haven't been getting those calls because I've been constantly emailing my clients massive newsletters. I'm sure you've been getting newsletters, right? You've gotten the updates. Yep. So I've been telling you what's going on, keeping you up to speed, letting you know what the strategy is. And it's about being diligent, Jay. It's about being diligent, coming in here and getting it done every day, not sitting on the sidelines, and just really giving it everything I got for these clients. I was supposed to take a vacation right about now.
Yeah.
Coming off of all of this, I think I told you, I was going to be in Florida here pretty soon, and I wanted to see you and Rachel, and then go down and see some friends. And I was about out of juice. I'll be honest with you, man. I was like, I was out of juice. I didn't have it. And so I told God, I said, man, you know what? I know I'm supposed to take a break, but I'll tell you what, I don't have anything to give my clients right now. So I'm going to have to lean in on you, rely on you even harder right now. And you're going to have to give it to me. So when you give it to me, I can bring it and give it to them. It's like the five, the fish and the bread. When he took it, he broke it, he blessed it, and he gave it. And I said, God, you're going to have to take me, and you're going to have to bless me, and you're going to have to break me, and then give me to the people. And that's what's going on right now. So I feel really good. I feel juiced. I feel rejuvenated. And I know some time is going to come where I'll be able to take a break, man, and just relax. But right now we're trying to bring it. So clients aren't freaking out. They know what's going on. We've seen this before. We've seen it back in 2008. We've seen it in 2012. We've been here before. We know what to do. And it's a matter of doing what you know. Okay. And that's it for me.
Man, so here's what I hear more astute investors than me saying, and I wanted to get your take on it because I really, clearly I respect you. Clearly.
I appreciate
working together. I hear guys saying that getting out into cash is the absolute worst move you could make right now?
Yeah, it's one of the worst moves you can make because the market is down, quite a bit from its all-time highs. But surprisingly, some of my portfolios are up and some are down 20%, and some are down 10%, some are down 5%. It just kind of depends on what the client actually wanted and what they were doing. So right now, to get out and getting cash is the wrong move. I think getting out and then hooking your trailer to some of the tractors that are pulling still, that haven't quite bogged down. You got to find those stocks that you look at them and say, okay, we've been through a 30% drop or 40% drop here. Who's been down 10%? Who's been down 5%? Who's been down 9%, and why? And you look at those guys, you research those guys, and then you put some of your money there. And then you look at income, things that are giving you income. I'm going into treasury ETFs and different things like that. I call it my modified income portfolio. I have some fixed income portfolios. We're putting some money there. But for the clients who have a 10 to 20-year time frame, what I'm also doing is looking at some of the bargains that are out there. Some of the guys that are beat down, down at their 52-week low, pushing through down further through their 52-week lows. And I'm buying that stuff in small doses, buying it in small doses so that I call it lighting the fuse to the dynamite, because eventually it's going to go boom. Okay. And when it goes boom and you're sitting there sitting in cash, what I tell my clients is this, this market is going to go back up again, but it's going to be like climbing out of JFK. I don't know if I used to be an air traffic controller, but when you're climbing out, you're going to go through this turbulence and it's going to be bumpy and you feel the plane going up and down, but it's climbing. It's still climbing. It's still climbing. And eventually you're going to get to 30,000 feet, and you're going to take that heading and you're going to have some smooth sailing for a while and you're going to hit some turbulence here or there. But that's what's happening right now. So, and I've told my clients that and they expect that. And so if you're preparing people and you're telling them and then they can see what's happening as you say it, I think they're more comfortable. Um, Following the herd is not a good thing. And that's why you need to have a long-term plan, because if you're taking everything and putting it into cash, how does that affect your long-term financial plan? What does that do to you, right? So if you're putting everything in cash now and you're going to need a certain amount of income when you retire based on a certain rate of growth, I mean, it's like, how do you catch up, right? So you can put some of that money on the sidelines, but you got to treat it as dry powder and you got to figure out when to get back in. And so if you're sitting there trying to do everything on your own, you got a job, or you're at home right now and you're reading all this advice. I mean, you haven't been investing for that long, or maybe you are a seasoned investor. But the thing is how do you know that's right for your long-term financial plan, right? So when you're making these moves in your portfolios, they have to be made according to your long-term financial plan, not just what some guy says on TV or what you read in a news article or something like that. And so that would be my 2 cents for the guy who says, put it all in cash and then wait. If you're doing it yourself, maybe that's what you're doing. But if you're working with someone and they're telling you that,
Right.
that's the lazy man's game right there, due to the fact that we're still collecting our fees on your portfolio, and that's the truth. Okay. So whether you're charging 1%, 1.5%, if you're sitting there all in cash, your advisor is still getting paid, right? So if your advisor is getting paid and you're sitting there in cash, maybe that's not the right thing to do. Maybe you should pull it out and put it in the bank if you're going to put it in cash and then put it back in order to reduce your fee. So that's something you're going to have to think about.
And so you talked about people watching the news and the craziness and negativity. How do you protect the 6 inches between your ears from all that negativity penetrating into your mind?
Man, it's interesting because I'll wake up and my routine varies from day to day. Sometimes I'll wake up early and I'm making trades for my clients, looking at their portfolios, watching that stuff, thinking about their long-term financial plan. And then what I'll do is I'll get into my journaling. So my motto is dream, plan, accomplish. I write that down at the very top. I write today's date. I write dream. I write plan, and I write accomplish. And so I think I'll take you back to February 29th, 2020. I wrote down at the top, dream plan accomplished. And I said, do not feel sorry for yourself, not for 1 minute. Okay. Don't feel sorry for yourself in your situation, not for 1 minute. I think me and my wife, I got into a little bit of an argument about something, and you know, we work together. She's my CPA in the company, my accountant. She does all the books. She sees the money coming in the house, out the house, in the company, out the company. So I don't have a slush fund. I don't have a private, go, screw off account. She sees absolutely everything. So, we have to be on the same page about a lot of stuff. So I think we had this one argument about something stupid, and normally it's about something stupid when you argue anyway or disagree. And so I was just kind of feeling down about it because, I need my wife. I need her support. I need her love. I need her because, home is my shelter. And if you are warring at home and you have to go out and fight in the world, you're pretty much going to be, it's hard to win. It's one of the things I shared with her is we're going to have harmony in our home because I fight out there every single day, fighting in the investment world, fighting in the business world, fighting, with all the naysayers and the doubters. I mean, there's a lot of fight that goes on every single day. And so I wrote that, don't feel sorry for yourself. I wrote down, I'm with the Lord. He takes care of me and everything that concerns me. I have the ability to go where I like and do what I like. Nobody's hindering me. I'm a hardworking, diligent person that cares for and is deeply concerned with others. I wrote that down. And Jay, that's a little bit about, what goes into this head, in the morning before I come in and I fight and do battle, for the people I love, my clients and my family. And as far as watching the news, I watch the news. When you watch the news, you got to think about like propaganda. So you can watch Fox News, you watch CNN, you can watch CNBC. I subscribe to the Financial Times. I've subscribed to all of these different, Bloomberg, all of this stuff. And I'm a data freak. I consume tons of data. And when you're consuming data, you have to kind of be able to differentiate between what they are attempting to do with the information that they're putting out. Is it misinformation? Is it helpful information? Is it, are they trying to cause anarchy or is it or division? You said on one of your shows the other day, a house divided against itself, it can't stand. So there's people out there trying to divide this country. They love division. They love hate. They love to needle. They love to cause problems. It's like that stupid kid in class that was always acting up and you just wanted to freaking punch him because you wanted to study and they're causing problems and you just want to like to knock them out at recess, right? So that's how you kind of have to look at the media in regards to what they're putting out there, right? And if you begin to say, well, yeah, I hate the president, I hate this, I hate that, the guy's a loser, I want him gone. I mean, what else you got to do, man? Like, you got to take care of yourself. You got to provide for yourself. I like government versus government. I like, knowing that I can do all things and nobody's going to hinder me. Being black, I've been told all my life, like, you're a minority. And, I'll tell you a quick story. My neighbor, I was downstairs washing my Audi one day when I had it. And she came by and she's all, a white lady. And she was, man, my white friends, I have to tell them sometimes about how racist they are and, how they should just like give you guys a break and on and on. I said, you don't have to feel sorry for me. I'm washing an Audi. Like this is
in Hawaii, baby.
Black man in Hawaii washing an Audi and you're talking about white people need to feel sorry for me? Like you talking to the wrong dude right here. I got 2 kids, I'm raising them the best I can. I'm at home. My kids, they know who their dad is. They know where he is. They know what he's up to. They know what he's about, whether they, like it or not. I don't care. You don't need to feel sorry for me. And you don't say that to me. I don't need that. And so I understand where she was coming from being nice and all, and I've known her for a long time. I said, but I don't subscribe to that. I don't need to feel patronized. I don't need to feel like, yeah, somebody understands me. I don't care. I know what I got to do and I don't live by that. So, like I said, being an African-American, sometimes we get looked at like that. And so, a lot of the people that I work with don't even know I'm black until they see me. You think I'm a white guy, right?
Harold
So
Green.
Harold Ray,
I like green.
yeah. So
That's the guy I want working with me, Harold Green.
yeah, yeah. So that's, I mean, that's just some of my experiences that I've faced, but yeah, you can't let that trash get in your head, and let it bother you, and let that just destroy your game plan. I talk to my family about that all the time. I grew up in the South. I faced racism a lot when I was a kid. Um, I was one of the smartest black kids in the whole school, but I didn't apply myself the way I should, and so therefore, things were against me not because people were against me, but just because I wasn't doing what I needed to do. You know, Proverbs talks about the foolishness of man subverts his ways, and then his heart is resentful against God. It's like, God, why? God, why? And God's like, you're stupid. This is not about me punishing you. This is more about your stupidity, um, versus me punishing you or not giving you what you need. I've given you everything that you need to be successful, but we ruin our own lives. We're our own worst enemy sometimes. And so that's how I have to keep these things in my head, and make sure that I'm not, going outside of this information. Yeah.
Love it, man. So we're coming up on the last few minutes, and I have a couple more questions. So
Can
let's
I
see which
talk
one
that
I want to go.
much? Sorry about
You,
that.
this is your job talking right now. This is what you're supposed to be doing. What do you think I invited you here for? To be silent?
No, just look at your pretty face, man.
All right. So when we're thinking about, or when you're thinking about this time right now, what is the opportunity you're most excited about?
Man, the opportunity that I'm most excited about, um, I have a folder called opportunities, and I have things written down in there, opportunities that I can go and try to take advantage of right now. But the biggest opportunity is going to be looking at the landscape of the country and to see how things shift, and then to see how people are repositioned in other jobs and different things like that. But the biggest opportunity is in my rapid retire program, where I tell people we're going to put you in position to retire 5 to 10 years sooner than the average person. And I think right now in the market, when you have stocks that are down 60, 70, 80%, and you can buy into those and boost your portfolio by potentially 50, 60, 70%, that right there, that's a game changer. Okay. If you haven't lost much and then you can reposition into those guys, I tell you, when this economy comes back, and if we can keep the fundamentals in place, and what we have going right now and what was going good for the country, if we can take that to another level, I think people are going to come out of this hungry. People are going to come out of this ready to fight. People are going to come out of this like, man, you know what? This just happened to me, and I'm going to work like hell to make sure this never happens again. I'm going to reposition myself. And these people are going to be in position, okay, to be
Yeah.
super successful and to potentially walk away from their jobs and to find other things that they love to do, because we will have recovered and recouped and built up, their portfolios for that. And that's the opportunity that I'm most excited about.
I love it, man. So here's the other one that we'll wrap up on this one is we move forward 5 years into the future
Yep.
and we look back at this time. What do you want to be remembered for during this time?
Being helpful. Being helpful. My clients right now, they love how I check in on them personally to see how they're doing. I've reached out to a high school to help them review their financial aid award letters for the seniors, and I'm doing that for free. And so it's a matter of just being helpful, um, and just looking back at this time and saying, you know what, I did the best I could. I was there for people. I was there for my clients, and that's what I want to be remembered the most by, how I help calm them down and help grab them by the hand and help walk them through all of this craziness that's going on right now. And that's what I want people to remember the most.
Bro, I love it. We got a couple minutes. Anything else you want to say as we're wrapping up?
No, just stay focused, man, and one of the things I started doing is putting sticky pads around the house. I got one on my desk. The one on my desk says diligence. The one on my mirror at home, I think it also says diligence. Um, I think the one on my dresser says discipline. I got one on the drawer by my bed, on the dresser by the bed. It's more of a spiritual thing to kind of help me remember. So when I go to bed and I sleep, I tend to think these thoughts as I go to bed. And so I just want to tell people, figure out, how to stay in the game. Don't quit. Don't give up. It's okay to take breaks here and there, but, keep fighting. And we are going to come out of this bigger, better, stronger. And so it's just going to be up to you how you come out of this. It's not going to be up to the stimulus check you get. It's not going to be up to any of that. It's going to be up to you and you alone in regards to how you come out of this. And that's my message, man.
Love it. Mr. Harold Green, the Stop Doing What You Hate show, one of the Podcast Factory family, a guy that I love and highly recommend you listen to. In fact, you're one of Cupcake's top 2 shows.
Really?
Yeah, when she was able to go to the gym, she comes home quoting you. And I'm like, good God, yeah.
Sorry, man.
Little secret. And she's like, well, Harold was saying this. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of why we're dealing with Harold. That's I got that right from the beginning. But Mr. Harold Green, the Stop Doing What You Hate show, you are listening to thedailybreadproject.com. We bring you the light. We bring you the positivity. We bring you the nourishment you need in these rough times. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back next time.